Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Jamming Tower podcast. I am your host, Liam, and over to my left, if you're watching on the video, is Mirdo.
Or if you're listening to the left, could also be in your left ear.
Yeah, listen to the left. I can't listen to the left. I've got a bad ear, but, some people can listen to the left. Lucky them. Stop showing off, all right? Please comment if you can listen on the left. Anyway, we're doing our season wrap-up podcast. It is a day late as well. Could be 2 days late by the time I get this done. There was a recording on Monday which happened, which didn't happen because OBS was muted. Good job, Liam. And then Tuesday, Murdo forgot that we were supposed to re-record, and I just didn't feel well, so we didn't record. So now it's Wednesday.
I would have been ready. I would have been...
Yeah, you say that, but I don't believe you. Anyway, so we're not doing NAIC. We're not going to do predictions because every podcast does that. We're not going to do a tier list because everyone does that. We're going to do our season wrap-up. So if you don't care about us and our seasons, then, well, probably ain't going to be a good podcast for you. But I have a cat on my lap, so that might cheer you up. We're going to talk through our challenges and what were our favourites. Then we're going to do the same again with cups. And then we're going to talk about our regionals and do a quick wrap up on those. Of course, if you care more about those kind of things, I've done vlogs for each of my regional runs, so a lot more information there. Mirdo hasn't, but maybe this time... Mirdo's on some of them, actually, thinking about it. Mirdo is on some of them, talks about his run, especially for Inters. So we should make a point next year to get you your own like little series going on as well on the channel for vlogs and stuff, for regional runs and things.
Yeah, maybe. I would like to get more into like content creation anyway, so that could be a good way to do it. Maybe we'll see.
Okay.
Maybe I never record myself talking to public, so we'll see.
It's weird because you constantly feel like people are listening to you, but then you realize you're just part of the background noise of everybody else's thing. Occasionally you get someone looking at you because you're holding the camera, but like that's less and less weird every single year. Like when I first started having to do stuff like that for MCM, I was so like self-conscious about recording things. Now I'm just like, oh yeah, just sit down, put the camera down, and just start talking.
I do notice the more you just start to do things and very less about what might happen if you do things, the happier you'll be and the more successful.
First up, our challenges. From challenges, I hit my best finish limit, 4 out of 4 with 2 wins. Did 8 challenges in total, so that is a, 50% hit rate or something like that? I don't know, there's maths there you guys can figure out. Yeah, interesting little runs, and I'm going to be honest, even though I have 2 wins, my favourite challenge wasn't even one I won. It was one where I came second in a field of 8 people, and I came second by having a bye, losing my next match, then winning my final match. And I somehow got second at 2-1, while 3 other people ended up behind me somehow, playing all their games. No idea how that happened, but here we are. Mirdo, how are your challenges?
The tournament software is a bit weird with tiebreakers and stuff. There's really a buy involved. I don't really understand how it works, but yeah. So challenges were interesting this year. I had a long dry streak with them. I just couldn't get them done. If you are not familiar with me, I really tried to go to Worlds this time. Didn't work out. So I obviously had to maximize points for challenges and cups. My favorite challenges that I won include... So I did manage to win all 4 challenges. My favorite challenges include the one I think the weekend of the rotation, or like the week before, where I managed to sneak in one last win with Chempao, the way is supposed to be, with Irida and with Kyogre, my favorite version of the deck. And also the one where I lost my win-in for the League Cup. Then the challenge was during the top cut for the cup, and I won the challenge. And because there wasn't a senior present, I still got the championship match. So that was awesome. Also, at that point, I was in a blood feud with the other Nico that is local to my league, and he was 1 point ahead of me because he went to Seville and I didn't. And because of the challenge win, I got 3 points. So I was then 2 points ahead of him because I won the challenge and he didn't manage to improve on the cup. So yeah, that was really funny. That was a really funny challenge. Elsewise, yeah.
Mirdo just doing challenge wins out of spite at this stage.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I kind of gave up on myself like at that point because Stockholm didn't go well, EOSC didn't go well. And then Nico came back from Sevilla, beating me in totals by 1 point. I was like, okay, now it's personal. I'm not gonna get beaten by him. And then I just started to have a bit of a run again, so that was cool.
people who weren't going for Worlds were like, I want to get Ace Trainer. Mirdo, who then wasn't getting Worlds, is like, I just want to beat the other Nico.
Oh, there were a lot of funny cases in my locals where like people did incredible runs to get their Ace Trainer. Just like they barely played all season, and I was like, oh, I need to get my 200 points somehow, and then
we had a couple of people. The last cup I went to, they were like, I think they needed to. I think they were on 100, so they needed to win that cup, which they did, and then obviously do well in a couple more locals to get it. And I have no idea if they got it yet or not. I should find out actually. But I haven't seen them in a while.
I do actually have 3 stories if you want to have a short tangent.
Go for it.
Cool. So one friend, Tobias, he was like at every almost every cup. He is mostly a judge at like regional level, so he didn't get to go to a lot of regionals. And I think he kept it to the very last cup. At the very end, he managed to get his finals, so he could. So he was just over the line at the end. Another friend of mine who didn't play most of the season, then kind of came back right before they announced it, and then started to play again. Alex. So he was like, okay, I just need a couple of points here and there, and then I can get the rest at Utrecht. He came back. I think it was a top 8, top 4, and like 2 cup wins. And then like a challenge win here and there, and then he already had his 200 because he just out of nowhere won 2 cups in a row. Like I think Saturday, Sunday even. Fucking insane. And which was really good because he then missed his bus for Utrecht, so he couldn't go to the regional. But he already had his 200 points, so that was quite fortunate. And the other one was my friend Dennis, who was like, "Oh, I only need top 4. I only need top 4." So I was ready to like scoop him into top cut if necessary. And he then gets his top 4. We leave early. He plays the rest of the cup out, and he then messages us like, "Oh, I miscalculated. I needed a finals." I'm like, "God damn it!" So yeah, he missed it by like 8 points, I think, in the end, which sucks. Yeah.
All right. On to cups. Once again, best finish limit hit. Hell yeah. I only got 1 win this time though, rather than 2 from last year. But I really did not put the same amount of energy into cups this year. Last year I did 21 cups with 5 results, 5 top cuts. This time I only did 11 cups, so I reduced it by 10 and still got 4 top cuts. So that felt pretty good. And yeah, I don't think I have like any major highlights of cups. The win was really good. It was Reggie Drago, which it was an interesting situation as well because we got to round 4 or 5, whichever the last one was, and the top 4 people was somebody, me, somebody, and we looked at the results, and second and third could safely ID, which worked out incredibly well. First and fourth had to play it out, and it was basically a case of there kind of had to be a winner. They could have ID'd, but it was incredibly risky. So they played it out. They ended up naturally tying, but because the only other person I think it was who could jump them ended up losing, the tie was absolutely fine. So first and fourth, second and third didn't change places, and that was the exact same matchups that we had to have in top 4 as well. So first and fourth had to play each other twice. Me, second and third, we ID'd the first one, then obviously played out top cut, and it ended up being both of us winning. It was me and a friend of mine from Manaflux. We both beat Lukia's, which felt really good. And then it was me on Regidrago versus them on Dragapult. And back then, Dragapult did not have a good matchup into Regidrago. I mean, imagine it wouldn't now, still. But it's rotated, so it doesn't matter. But yeah, I ended up just destroying that matchup 2-0, and it felt really good. And that was like the start of Regidrago feeling really good for me as well. I did a good month and a half on the same deck, which is unusual for me. Like this season, I made sure I stuck on the same deck for a very long time, or at least long time for me. And I ended up taking to Stuttgart and just did not perform with it at all. But that's for the regional talk later.
We'll get to that.
We'll get to that. Mirdo, how were your cups?
Yeah, I played 27 of them, which, boy howdy, that's so many tournaments, plus challenges, plus regionals. I pretty much played a tournament every week. Obviously, a lot of them also like double cup weekends, or like I did 1 cup at a regional as well. But yeah, it's It's rough. I play too much Pokemon, and I only have 2 cup wins for it to show for it. Only sounds like only 2 wins sounds a bit douchey, but if you are going for the Worlds Wide, it's a bit
I get it though, because like I obviously saying like for cups last year I did 21, and I only got 2 wins out of those. Now granted I wasn't as good a player as I am now, but like it still feels weird that I got 5 top cuts, 2 wins out of 21, and then 4 out of 11. You know what I mean? Like if I'd have done 21 this year, just imagine how much better I could have done, kind of thing. So yeah, I get it. Like maybe it does sound douchey, but yeah, only 2 wins when you put that much effort in. It's like, oh, I should have done better.
Yeah, and I got like so many top cuts as well. I think like way over half I managed to top cut in, and I just like fail at top 8, fail at top 4, mostly at top 4 actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a bit annoying if you are like. I definitely recognize like the issue being like a bit of my mental game, and preparation and stuff like that. And I think that's something to work on for next season. But it's a bit annoying when you like know that you can like at any given cup that you're most likely at least on the edge to make a cut, but like it just never like you just never really get like the end of it. I managed to win 2 cups. One was at the very beginning of the season, one was quite close to the end. The second win was also my favorite cup, I think, because that was the weekend we spent at my friend Julian's house. We were like I think 5 people, and just dicked about, had a bit of a good time over the weekend, did some sightseeing as well. It was like a long weekend because of a holiday on Friday or Thursday, and then we like bridged over. Yeah, so we just had a good time. We stuck around that in that store for ages because I went to finals. Also at that cup, similar situation to what you did. So most of I think 6 people were able to ID, but my friend Marius's game wasn't able to ID, because if they did, then there was a high chance of Marius bubbling out. So what they did is what not every store does, and I'm not sure if it's like a thing you're supposed to do, but they would show you the current standings before the round.
Yeah, I don't know if it's allowed or not, but different shops can be
weird
about it. Yeah, I've had more than a couple of shops go, you can figure it out, and I'm like, but I don't want to. I'll look at the standings.
Yeah. So basically the situation was, if they ID, then there's going to be a 9th. No, I think 4 people ID'd, and they were like on the brisk basically, and then 2 of us had to play out or whatever. I'm not entirely sure. Doesn't matter. So basically the situation was Marius was on the bottom, so he needed to play out to make it in. They ended up tying naturally, but Marius still made it into top cut because the other game, there was like a bit of a down pair. So the person that was more like that was higher on score lost to the person that then was tied with Marius and the others. And that person's tiebreaker was that terrible that it was below Marius, and then they bubbled out.
Nice.
So yeah, so they eliminated their opponent and themselves, which is a bit like, obviously you have to try everything you have to make it. So I don't blame them, but it's kind of tragic in the end. Yeah, so I managed to win that cup. Was really happy about that. Felt pretty good. Because then that was also like a bit of the start of my comeback of like getting a bit more confident again, trying to like a last grasp for the invite, which then led into my Utrecht run, which we'll get to in a bit.
Yeah, speaking of Utrecht and other regionals and special championships, well, let's get started on those, shall we? So Mirdo actually started off his season before me. I was in a bit of a weird position at the start of the season, and I ended up missing out on Bochum. Is it Bochum or Dortmund? It was Bochum, right? It was Dortmund. So I missed out on Dortmund and nearly missed out on Lille as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Mirdo will kick us off with Dortmund, and then we'll go into Lille.
Yeah, Lille was like a last, like second, third wave for you, wasn't it? Like
yeah.
Very last wave. Yeah, so Dortmund, I was quite confident into Dortmund. Last season was for me my best season to that point. So I was like, hey, I'm gonna play a deck that's meta. I'm gonna play Regidrago. I feel pretty confident about the list. I've basically went same 60 with another friend who I was pretty confident with, and I absolutely sync up the joint. I go 3 and 5. I remember like winning one game against a Snorlax player that felt pretty good. Like I always have like always feels pretty rewarding to win against the Snorlax game. I felt like the like obviously with some decks there's just no way, but like if you have a way, it's always fun.
You played against a Cinderace Pidgeot deck.
Yes, I did.
Wow.
That was like round 5 or something.
Yeah, that was
something like that.
I've got the list here. Let me find it again.
Yeah, that was like so Poké Rank actually has like all the matchups. That's really
good. Round 6 was a win against a Cinderace. Yeah. That's insane.
Yeah, so I won the first round, then I just hit like stinker after stinker. Like I hit the Roaring Moon, which is not a great matchup. I just hit like I think round 4 and 5 were terrible draws back to back. Like just couldn't get going. And then the Cinderace, and then I don't remember losing the last 2 rounds. Good lord. Yeah, that wasn't a good day. I think I was also a bit sick, but not like too bad.
I don't think I've ever seen one of your tournament runs. I'm probably going to correct myself later on. I don't think I've ever seen one of your tournament runs where none of your opponents made it to day 2.
Yeah, that was also
wild.
Weird. Yeah, I think it's a bit unusual. I tend to like my opponents tend to kind of do shit. I think especially if they beat me round 1, they kind of eat shit after. It's a bit of a rule. Like I'll have a look at it now, but have a look at as we go. But like it tends to not go well for them. So yeah.
Cool. So Lille. Lille is going to be one of my favorite regionals this year for the most weirdest reason. So first of all, I played Raging Bolt and I went 2-2-2. Not that surprising. It was just after an American regional where Caleb Gedimer won. I didn't take his. No, I did end up taking his list because I didn't really have faith in mine. He went with a trekking shoes list, and I'm going to be honest, I missed trekking shoes all weekend. Anyway, 2-2-2. So every deck I played was a less than I say 4, it could be 3, but less than 4% meta share. It was ridiculous. I ended up against Lost Box twice, Iron Thorns, Chempao, Blissey, and God of War. I won against the God of War, won against the Blissey, won against one of the Lost Box, tied the other one. But yeah, it was just a cursed run. So I dropped out at 2-2-2, and I was like, I wonder if I can get home. I wonder how much it would cost to get home just the same day. So I looked at the Eurostar prices, and I think it was an extra. I think it was an extra 35 just to like rebook and get a train at 8 o'clock rather than the next day. So I booked that train, and I spent less than 24 hours in France. It was ridiculous. Like I got in some point past 10 o'clock on the Friday, and I left by 8 o'clock on the Saturday. It was that bad a run. And to be fair, I was quite happy I had that because it meant I could have the day to myself on Sunday and, you know, spend it with Kaya and stuff. But yeah, it was that bad a run. I was like, I just don't want to stay here, and just left. So if you've ever wanted to see someone crash out on not even a bad result, like that's fine. The results I had were actually like decent considering what I was playing against. I'm the perfect example. Also, I spent £5 on a can of Monster in the venue. That sucked. And yeah, that was my run. I didn't stop me from playing Raging Bolt in the future, but it was not a good choice for that. I mean, it was, but the decks I ran into were insane. So yeah. And Lost Box being one of my most hated decks doesn't stop there, but that's for another story. Mirdo, over to you for Lille.
Yeah, Lille was really interesting. So like I said before, I was on Regidrago, felt pretty good about it. After Dortmund, I'm like, oh no, I don't want to play this anymore. Oh, no. So I was a bit in a crisis, as I tend to be a lot. If you know me, I'm the deck crisis man. I have the deck crisis. With these creases. I have deck creases. Ask me about my deck crease.
No.
Anyway, so Marius, love of my life, friend of me. No. Brings me back to Chempao, which used to be my main deck. I kind of dropped it because it started to get a bit bad. And it probably wasn't the right choice, but we kind of started to see a bit of a crack in the meta. Because at that point, we managed to get a lot of value out of Greninja EX. and that felt like we were a bit ahead of the curve when like before people started to do like Greninja EX with Palkia and stuff like that. Like that was a bit before that or like during that. I don't quite remember. But we managed to get a good list going with that, and I managed to start 3-0 a little. And then I hit the absolute grinder, which was 2 Regidragos, which we learned wasn't a great matchup. Or like Regidrago at that point was just so good and really hard to stop. I believe what our like the best thing about our deck was like that you could kind of play from behind, especially with Greninja, because you could like Iono late and then just have this 320 HP thing in the front and then just start sniping stuff, and like take 4 prize cards and stuff in 2 turns and that kind of thing. And Regidrago didn't really care about that much. So I get run over by 2 really good players, by Kaiwin Kababe and by Dimitri Eden, which also Liam knows well. They're both really, really good. They just kind of steamroll me. And then I'm 3-2. And unfortunately, I lose a unfortunate round 7 against the Charizard deck, but managed to go to 5-3 in the end, which would mean the first time after, because for this season they changed how much booster packs get given out. I believe before it was top 64 only, and from now on it's way far down. So I get my first top 2, 5, 6 of the season, and I get 16 booster packs of Stellar Crown at that point.
I don't think.
And my polls were insane.
I don't think I realized you played against 2 people I knew. So Dimitri,
you know Ruben as well.
I know
right?
Ruben as well. Yeah, so that's really funny.
Yeah. Somehow I go to France to meet your people.
Yeah, apparently.
And every time I'm in England, I'm like at a Birmingham regional. I was like, oh, do you know him? Do you know him? If I play against a British player, and you never do.
No, it's quite funny.
But yeah, also what I constantly have while we talk about regionals, I just always have really nice opponents. I don't know. Maybe I'm just like good at getting along with new people. Maybe that's a skill I have, but I think it's just always fun. Not all of them are talkative, obviously, but like it's, especially this season, it felt really good to be in the community. I don't know. I just feel like the community really got nicer even. Like I never felt like it wasn't good at all at any point. I've been playing since 2016 now. But it felt, especially this year, like just very, very nice people all around. I don't think I've had an unpleasant experience this year.
He hasn't played against me at regional yet, so
I didn't. Yes, that's correct.
God, one day that will happen. That's gonna be terrifying.
Do you remember when I hit the other Nico at EOIC that one year?
Yeah,
like round 2. That was so stupid.
All right, on to Gdansk, and I think Mirdo and I will both agree on this, that I think Gdansk is one of our favourite regionals.
Yep.
I think next year, if all goes to plan, for still at Gdansk and stuff, I think we'll make a bit more of a holiday of Gdansk, because it was such a great place. I absolutely loved it. Anyway, I played Charizard Pidgeot for this one, and as mentioned with Raging Bolt and Regidrago earlier, like, it's another deck I put a lot of games into. I probably didn't put as much as great players will say to put in. Like, whenever I hear players say, I played 1,000 games of this, and I'm like, have you? Anyway, maybe they have, I don't know, but I put over 100 into this. I have a spreadsheet, I keep track of all this stuff, and I was really confident with Charizard. I hadn't played any tournaments, any locals with it really, but I did a lot of self-testing, I did a lot of ladder grinding with it, felt really confident with it. So anyway, I went 3-5. It was so bad. The amount of times the deck, I would say 90% of the time, opened with either a single Charmander and then I'd have 2 prized, or I would open with something useless, like, well, useless is a strong word, but Rotom. I could draw 3, great, but I couldn't do anything else. Or it was Pheasantipity, and I just couldn't do anything else. Or Cleffa, and I couldn't do anything. Like, it was awful. But I did win a mirror match, which felt pretty good. But then I lost a mirror match, but I was a game loss on that one because we had lunch. Lunch took way too long to actually get to us. I think that was a whole thing. At that point, I think I'd already pretty much given up. But yeah, that wasn't great. Other than that, it just wasn't. The deck didn't feel good, except for range 3, 7, and 8. I did fine in 7 and 8 against Palkias, which was weird. I didn't think that should have been a match I'd usually win, especially Palkia Dusknoir. But yeah, decks functioned really well, and at the end of it, I swore off Charizard and Evolving decks for tournaments because they were just driving me absolutely insane. But yeah, tournament run again wasn't great. I don't think I ran into like bad meta share decks or anything like that, but it just didn't feel great to play at all. But Gdansk itself was brilliant. I would say highlights: food. We went for a food court place that was quite local to where we were staying twice. Well, I did twice. I went on the Friday evening and on the Sunday evening. Absolutely fantastic. Loved it. One of my favorite things in the world. And we went to a brilliant, yes, Mirdo, a brilliant pierogi place. If you're watching, Mirdo and I both picked up these pierogi pillows. I got one for Kea, and Mirdo kept his.
It's so good.
But we got those from there as well as like a little memory thing. And my God, it was. I can't wait to go back there because the pierogies themselves were just amazing. Mirdo, you had a much better Gdansk run.
Yeah, I had a pretty good run. I think it's something that kind of comes through here. My first round was against Christian Fontenot, who's also a really good player. Kind of got run over by the only matchup that we were pretty scared about, which was Lugia. But then they don't make day 2, but I do. So the food thing, I believe we actually ended the previous round quite early, but there was such a line at the food truck that but it was this whole like sunk cost kind of thing, because it was like, we paid for this already, and our number is just coming up. So it's like, I don't want to not take it.
Getting to order didn't take us long. Yeah. Like, we got there pretty quickly, but it's like, you've got a number now. And it was like, we were waiting for, it must have been about 15, 20 minutes before our number got called. And I think the round started as we got our food. Like, we ran
something like that.
And it was ridiculous.
So that was, I actually remember that was round 4. And I came in and they were like, okay, you're getting a late penalty, which means if there is a tie, you lose. Yeah. So I didn't get a game loss, which I was just able to avoid. But I did get a late penalty. Managed to then run over my opponent 2-0, which, nice.
And they dropped at round 7, Mirdo. That was your fault.
Yeah, so they were, that's so we were both 2-1, apparently. And then they went 2-5, so they lost the next 4 rounds. Which,
you were their downfall.
Yeah. I just come late, fucking beat their ass 0-2 with my stupid Chien-Pao deck. Oh yeah, we're still on Chien-Pao, by the way. With my favorite build of the deck, of the list, and absolutely the right call for that weekend. Isolated, because we were really good against all the Raging Bolts, like single prizer stuff, because we played the Kyogre. Which does 180 to anything, so we were really able to punish all the Squawkabillies, all the Luminions, and stuff like that, while maintaining a 1-price board. It's also, we played the one of Jet Energy with the Kyogre, because it takes free energy back into the hand, so that means we can infinitely cycle Jet Energy onto Kyogre to beat Snorlax, which was also quite popular at the time, and we figured that Poland is usually like a place where a lot of stall players would come from. So that worked really well. That all won me like quite a few rounds. And round 8, I luck into playing against a Gouging Fire player, which is really unfortunate for them, but good for me because obviously quite easy matchup, and they also break, so that didn't help. So I go into day 2, first time this season, and I managed to get 42nd, which I'm really happy with. Unfortunately, I tied the last round. If I won, I think I would have been on the bubble for 16, so might have even been into 16, would have definitely been 32, which would have been $1,000 and a second display. But I was just really happy. I got my best result ever, and a display. Unfortunately, Marius, who I built this list with, or like he built it more and I helped, couldn't make it because of the plane trouble. You might have heard about it. Like, there were so strong winds that a lot of flights got redirected, so he got like completely fucked by that, and I got late. I got in the Friday very late, and he didn't get here enough at all, so that really sucked. So I won a display and I split it with him, and he managed to pull the odd art Terrapagos in it. So,
Nice. That round 12 was so funny as well, because you were like relatively calm, and I think me and somebody else were just like ready to go fight the guy.
Yeah, we were the very last game in the room. Like literally every other game was done, and we had like 5 judges around us.
Yep.
Insane, because we were also like doing like a gentleman's thing, and we were at like after 3 rounds of overtime, we were tied in prizes. It was like this really weird situation, and yeah, we just couldn't really find anything, so we just tied, which was really unfortunate. But it is what it is. That's part of the game. Yeah, but yeah, really, I wish I had more time to visit the town, because I think from what I saw, all the architecture and stuff is really nice.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it was very friendly people, very good food everywhere, and relatively cheap, especially comparing to the British regionals and stuff like that. So yeah, we definitely want to go other places. Also, this was only 2 weeks after Lille, and we had Dortmund, Lille, and Gdansk. So having a nice city was a good change, because boy howdy, Lille and Dortmund are not great to visit. Let's say it like that.
I keep referring to Lille as Francis Stoke-on-Trent.
Yeah, I mean, I'm fine. Like, Dortmund obviously really fine for me because it's relatively easy. Lille is also like okay to reach, but the city is not nice. Like, they have a nice shopping center, but that's about it.
Yeah,
it's not very good there.
I will say we went last year and we didn't stay really in the same place. We didn't really catch up food at all at Lille, but we did go for like a really nice burger place while we were there. Was it Burger Smash or something like that it was called?
Yeah,
that was really nice.
Yeah, it's always like also just hard for me to enjoy myself when I don't like am able to communicate with people. Like at Poland, I felt fairly confident that I get along with English. German even like at some points, like some people will also know German, but yeah, it's in France you just always know like, oh, this is going to be difficult to navigate.
It was, to be fair, being a British person, I have preconceived notions about the French. But to be fair, at Lille, and same last year, like everyone was really nice. It was just a lot of smiles and stuff. Communication wasn't the best necessarily, but you get by with a lot of like showing numbers with fingers and stuff like that. So yeah. It wasn't too bad. Right.
But I did also get a plush in Lille, actually. I got the French Olympic mascot in Lille in a random like corner shop.
Okay.
I got a lot of plushes at regionals this year. I'm realizing.
Thanks for sharing.
You're welcome.
Okay. Well. Anyway.
I got a lot of plushies. Boy, howdy.
On to Stuttgart, and I mentioned this in the pre-recording before, but like, it's amazing how much familiarity I had with both Lille and Stuttgart, even though I've only been there once before. Like, recognizing where I was like one of those moments where I'm like, oh, I know where I am. I know how to get to places. It takes nothing. I'm like a pigeon. Like, I need to go somewhere once. I know exactly how to get back there. It's ridiculous. But Stuttgart was great. What did I play at Stuttgart? It was Regidrago, and it was possibly the worst time to play Regidrago because it was when Miraidon was getting really popular, and it turned out it was a really bad matchup. But I didn't do too badly. I ended up going 3-3-1. Could have been better, but I ended up double bricking into 2 Miraidons round 4 and 5 in the exact same way both games as well, which was insane. Like, both game 1s and game 2s went exactly the same way. Insane. But they're both bricks anyway, so it didn't really matter. I also got deck checked at round 2 because my opponent decided that I was trying to cheat. Basically, I was cutting my deck, handed it to the opponent. They held my deck like vertically like this, called over a judge and said I'd been splitting the deck and shuffling on this card, which I'm not sure how that's possible. I was mass shuffling. And then I specifically cut the deck on that card and then handed it to the opponent. I'm not good enough to cheat like that. So that ended up,
they don't know that.
They don't know that, whatever. But like, they deck checked me for about 15 minutes, but they also took the opponents as well. So it came back. It was one of my nest balls, which is Mirdo's fault because he told me to use my shiny international reverse holo nest balls for good luck. It turns out they nearly got me a penalty. But they also got deck checked for a dodgy sleeve. So we both got warnings, which was funny. I think it was good karma. Ended up losing that because I was incredibly tilted. And then round 7 is when I dropped. I ended up tying against Lost Box. I know what you're thinking. Regidrago tying against Lost Box, isn't that a favoured matchup? Yeah, it's favoured if you're not greedy with Kyurem. I used Kyurem way too early. Ended up wiping all my energy off the board. Couldn't get anything back on. And I was so annoyed at that point, especially after the double my ride on loss. That I just didn't like it. Highlight for Stuttgart, got to hang out with Mirdo. It was great. Love hanging out with my boy Mirdo. We were supposed to get food as well, but then that ended up being weird. We didn't actually end up going out for food. We ordered pizza instead. Mirdo's now thinking.
Yeah, I remember.
We looked at going to a couple of different places, but they ended up being closed. So we ordered food, and I ordered a pizza that had chips on it. Do you remember that?
Yeah,
and it was terrible.
That was so annoying. Like that whole segment, I was so annoyed, and people were like, "Oh, we want to go to places," and I was like, "Just get anything." I'm so done. Especially because I almost crashed a car and all these fun things. So just quickly about my tournament run. So I didn't really feel great going to Stuttgart. Was pretty good in Gdansk, then kind of had a drop off in like my confidence.
What were you playing?
Jump out? Or what? Yeah, so I was getting to that basically because I didn't really feel like my head was in the game. I just took what felt comfortable, even though the viability of the deck massively went down at that point, because I believe that was the first weekend where Surging Sparks, that was one of the first regional where Surging Sparks was legal, meaning there was a huge increase in Miraidon, which isn't a great matchup, even with Greninja that we did have, because it can, like, basically Miraidon can just kind of run you over and then take the Froakie, and they will always just focus it, because at that point also a lot of people grown wise to the whole Greninja thing at that point as well, because of other decks as well. So I didn't feel great going to the weekend, just took what I felt comfortable with. Went 2-3, which isn't great, so lost 1-1-1, lost 1-1-1, and then I managed to win the last 3 to at least go 5-3, which would mean at that point I get top 500 points at the very least. So I get 40 points. And my our travel buddy and my friend Marius manages to finally get a day 2 as well. Also at this point, the first regional Stuttgart in Europe, where the new system comes in, where you don't need. So in Gdansk I needed a 6-2 to make day 2. In Stuttgart you needed a 5-3. No, 5.
Is
5-2-1.
X2-1.
Yeah, 5-2-1.
Yeah.
So a lot of other local friends as well made it in to day 2. Really happy about that. And Marius manages to take, I think, approximately the same list as I did into day 2, so that's nice. As I played that weekend, but I guess he didn't hit as many bad matchups. I was also the so that was one of the weekends where I was kind of in charge of like most stuff again, which is fun, but like it's also draining.
You are the logistics guy.
Yeah, I tend to kind of just take over stuff when it comes to planning. Also another tournament where none of my opponents made day 2.
Oh really? Okay.
Yeah. So I was in charge of I drove down to Stuttgart. I picked Liam up at the airport at like 10 p.m. because Liam took a really late flight because I think he worked the day before, the day off.
One of the biggest issues I had with like the European stuff or European regionals was I couldn't get the Mondays and Fridays off, which is what I wanted. I had to get home on Sundays, which made things not too bad with how the new structure was this year. But getting in, I didn't get in. That's why I didn't get in, into Lille until quite late as well. I had to take, basically, my boss would let me take the last hour of the day off, but not a full afternoon or a full day or anything. So I was getting like the latest train I possibly could to the latest flight I possibly could, and it was crap. Like I do attribute that to a lot of my issues as well, where I just wasn't getting good night's sleep and stuff as well, and traveling. So it is what it is.
It's stressful. I think traveling, like, even if I don't, like, a lot of times I will do like Monday or Friday, take it off as a designated travel day, and even then I'm like, even if I do nothing but take my flight, I'm exhausted.
Yeah,
like
it's a lot.
It's like, even just flying short, like 2-hour flights to England, it's like you have to get to the airport, you have to go through the airport, and like it's so much time, and it's so much, just it's tiring. But yeah, so I did a drive to the tournament as well, and after day one, the parking lot right in front of the play area, I was looking over, so I was tired, annoyed, and we were like, across of us was another parking space, basically. So I thought, like, in a similar to like a grocery store parking lot, it would be like just drive through, right? So there's just another floor there, basically, nothing in between. I go like, awesome, I don't have to go backwards. Whoop. And there was a ditch there, in fact. There was, in fact, a ditch, which I drove into, and I was like, what do I do now? And we decided to go straight through, and I somehow managed it without damaging anything, which is a minor miracle. We did find some random plastic in the ditch, and we were like, we didn't think it was, in hindsight, I don't think it was part of the car, but we just packed it in, just in case it belongs to the car. Even I don't know why we did that, because even if it was part of the car, could we have done really anything with broken plastic?
Were we gonna glue it in? Like, what was the plan?
Yeah, I don't know. What was bro cooking? I don't know. But yeah, we did something that we do a lot of times, or like that I like to do a lot of times, is where we don't take a venue next to the place, but a bit more out, because it tends to be a bit cheaper.
Yeah.
Especially with Stuttgart, because it's right next to the airport, so there isn't like a lot of Airbnb right close.
Do you know what
there's hotels, but hotels tend to be quite pricey.
What was weird as well was, like, where we stopped last time was like, I really love where we stopped last time, but I ended up having to stop over a different day, an extra day, because of my flight being on a Monday last year. And the hotel that was right there, it was £50 for the night, and I was like, hell yeah, dude, this is amazing. I checked this year, or for last year, and it was so much more expensive. And I was like, why? What's happening? I think it's because I booked on the Sunday night, so it was like a much lower rate, because people were probably getting out of there for normal time. But like, I was looking at Friday and Saturday, and it was like nearly 250 quid, I think it was. It's mad.
It was always like, the last few years, it was also the same weekend as Comic-Con, I believe.
Yes.
So that was also like just quite busy every time. But yeah, Stuttgart in general was fun. I was really exhausted, really tired, but good experience. Quite silly tournament. I also got what do you call it, like a speed camera thing on the drive home.
Oh, you got caught by a speed camera?
Yeah, I got caught speeding by like 10 over or something like that. Yeah, so that was a great weekend.
Speaking of great weekends, let's get to Birmingham, which is my home regional. And it was so...
Oh, that was maybe the worst one.
And it was so home regional that I got to drive in both days. And I said both days.
Yeah, you slept in your bed, didn't you?
Yep, got to sleep in my bed. I said both days. I didn't make day 2, but we went in to go do some trading. But anyway, hey guys, remember how I said you won't... I had a hate relationship with Lost Box? Round 1. I'm playing Iron Pulp, by the way. Lost Box is probably the worst matchup, or at least one of. Round 1, Lost Box. Round 2, Lost Box. Round 3, Lost Box. How do I run into a less than 4% meta deck 3 times in a row in 2 different tournaments? What is going on?
It was so funny.
It was
tragic, but really funny.
I was so angry, and I ended up winning one of them, but purely because they ended up bricking, which was insane. Anyway, Iron Pulp, as we all know, was a very much an anti-meta deck. The meta at the time was Regidrago. It was the meta at the time. I ran into one Regidrago, and I lost against it. What good is an anti-meta deck that can't beat the bloody meta? Oh, God, what a terrible deck that was. Anyway, won against Goldengo, then lost against a Raging Bolt, a Roaring Moon, and I said to my opponent, "Thank you so much for freeing me," because while you're X and 3. There's still chance. There's points. There's still points on the line. So it's like you might as well carry on. As soon as you go 4, I'm like, cool, I'm out. So I dropped it. I dropped after round 6 at 2-4. Like this season was cursed, and that very much put an end to my season as well. I still had a UIC because I was signed up for that. Mirdo will carry on as well after Birmingham because he's got some more to tell you after internationals. We will go back to the internationals, by the way. We'll carry on with the regionals and stuff for now. But yeah, so that decided my run. Like it was very much a case of if I said if I day 2'd Birmingham, I would get Stockholm booked and go from there. But to be honest, if I even made points, I'd have been tempted to go for Stockholm. But instead, I didn't make points. I didn't even sniff points. Points were over there, and I was over here going, please, I'd like to see you. And they were like, no, you will not see us this year. Made it even more annoying, by the way, I got points in regionals twice last year. Granted, top 256, but still cool. Anyway, so cursed run overall. 2-4. Do I have a favourite moment? I have a worst moment. We nearly got run off the road by an absolute psychopath in a 4x4.
Oh, yeah.
On the M6, driving up the M6 with me and Kaya and a couple of other people. We were playing a game with this idiot, not on purpose, but he kept like going over to the far lane, dropping down to 70. So we were doing 72 at most, going past them and then carrying on.
Speeding.
Then they'd overtake us again. It's like, okay, what is this idiot doing? I'm just trying to do the speed limit. But he would go in front and slow down. Not brake test, but slow down. Anyway, I got the opportunity to box him in. And I love an opportunity to box someone in. They were like behind somebody as I was coming around them, and they tried to indicate to get around, to get me to move out of the way. I didn't the first time, so they ended up coming up behind me, and flashing their lights. I don't need to move, by the way. There's no legal requirement to move over in that situation. Anyway, so I get back into the first lane. They overtake me again. Same thing happens further down. Only this time they start moving into the lane to try and push me out of the lane. And I literally can't move this time because there was somebody in the third lane. So they were trying to run me off the bloody road or into. I don't know what they were trying to do. But I ended up just like pulling off the motorway and went over the roundabout, then back onto the motorway just to create some distance from this idiot. But my God, it was so dumb. That was the low light, I'd say, of the tournament, even though I only went 2-4. It was mad, honestly. I hate the M6 with a passion. And this was like 7 in the morning as well. Like, there's nobody else on the road, and this idiot wants to try and have a fight for some reason. And a very expensive car. Like, I'm in a cheap, crappy Ford Focus. If they want to smash their car up against mine, I'm not the one losing a crap ton of money. Anyway, Mirdo, how was your Birmingham?
You know the regional run is good when the story of the way there is longer than the tournament.
You know that meme where it's like me talking about X and it's like a minute, me talking about Y and it's like 24 minutes.
Yeah. No, it's we obviously flew in. We took a hotel right next to the airport, literally right next to. But we didn't hear any of the planes, so that was like we actually slept pretty well. Nice little hotel right next to the airport. Yeah, so weekend. What's up?
I was putting it on Beans.
Yeah, so we were three together sharing a room. It was one of those rooms where it's like a double bed and then like an elevated one over the top, basically. So like
bunk bed?
Two that way and then like one across.
Yeah, bunk bed.
On top. What?
A bunk bed.
Yeah, but like there was a double bed on the bottom, not like
they're legally allowed. Yeah, that's a bunk bed.
Yeah. So yeah, we had a tiny little room with the three of us. I was feeling like absolute garbage. I was probably not fit to play, but hey, I was there anyway. So I didn't go with the boys to eat Nando's on the Friday. My other friend decided to do that and decided to take the really spicy sauce, and he felt the consequences of that in the first round, or before the first round even happened. So that was great. I had a little bit of a throw-up before we went to the tournament as well, which was a great sign. Don't worry, it wasn't like sick. It was just me eating too fast. It's a whole thing. Don't worry about it. I'm fine. I'm healthy, relatively. Anyway, run goes fairly well. I only lose one round on day one, and last round I play against a very nice guy from, I believe, somewhere north of Manchester, he says. And he's like, "Oh, I don't really want to drive down tomorrow again for day 2," which is hilarious. We go into timeout, and obviously we both know that if we tie, none of us goes through. We had a really awkward board state because like I kind of ran out of resources. He had a really terrible board, and he was like, "Okay, I'll give you the win." I'm not really sure who would have won if we played out, but he graciously gave me the win so I could fight for more points next day. I'm still on turn power, by the way. Less out of this is a good pick, more that I just want to pick something that I don't need to think about much. And yeah, day 2 doesn't go great. And I lose 2 rounds, win 1, tie 1. So, which is just enough to hang on to top 256. I get half a display again. My roommate Nico also makes day 2. I believe Marius kind of got his shit pushed in as well because he wanted to play. Oh, was that the regional with like the really weird deck that he played?
You keep talking. I will have a look.
I try to remember what it was. It was it a Goldengo with like a Bax in it?
There's a Goldengo.
Yeah, I believe it was the Goldengo with a Bax and an Iron Hands in
so
it.
This list was 4/4 Goldengo, 1/2 Bax. No, oh no, sorry. There's 2 fridges. It's gapped. 2/0/2 Baxcalibur, 1 Fez, 1 Iron Hands, 1 Radiant Greninja.
Yeah, absolutely bonkers.
What were you thinking, Marius? What were you thinking?
Hey, I also looked at a list. I was like, "That's interesting."
Interesting is definitely a word for it. Yes. Is it good? It's fun. Is it good? It's fun.
Yeah. So yeah, we had like a bit of hope that it would go well. It didn't. I believe he dropped out after like 5-6 rounds or something. I think it went like absolutely horrible.
He was 2-3-1, so it would have been round 7. He dropped out.
Yeah, I guess that's not too terrible, but not great.
No, round 6. Round 6.
And then my day 2 just kind of goes horrible, and I'm like, ugh. And I feel bad, and I want to go to bed, and I want to sleep for 7 years. But yeah, I get a day 2. Another one for the list, I guess, for the pile at this point. It sticks out quite a lot on my limitless page because I think it's like all the other day 2s are like sub 100th place, and then that one is like 238 or something. Yeah, Birmingham, we didn't see much of the city. We did go into town, but we didn't do much there. Birmingham was not like something you have to see.
No, you don't.
Or like you have to visit at all. So yeah, not one of my favorite regions, but it's always fun to obviously have a region where I can meet friendly.
Then Mirdo, you had Stockholm next.
Yeah. So I was still in a bit of a reach for it. At this point, I'm getting a bit annoyed because this is post EYC, and I kind of was like, okay, I probably need like at least points at EYC. Ideally, like top 256 or something, because EYC is worth more than regionals. And I was like, okay, let's try like throw what I have at it. So I'm still I have. For EOIC, I've changed to Dragapult with Dusknoir, and I do fine with that deck, but I don't get results, which is really frustrating. I feel like I learned, like especially before Stockholm, so I was like, okay, I'm kind of done. Then I tried to research a bit. I was like, okay, I'm kind of feeling like, okay, I can learn. I feel a bit of a progress with the deck. I've sit down with a friend of mine to really learn the deck, and I get better with it. And Stockholm was one of the nicest places I visited, I think. One of my favorite places. The tournament didn't go super great. My standings looked like a candy cane because I went tie, win, tie, loss, win, loss, win, loss. Very tasty, not very good in sorts of results. Yeah, I made like stupid mistakes, especially round 4 against a Goldengo. I probably could have gotten a better result there, but didn't. It was the first regional I did in a long time where I was traveling on my own. So I wasn't sharing the room with anyone. which was a nice and different way. But I did feel a bit like alone at times. But yeah, it was definitely a bit annoying that I just couldn't really get Dragapult to give me results. Which, yeah, so that was really frustrating. And after that, I was like, okay, I'm probably done with with my tournament run, with my Worlds chase. What happens then is I don't go to Seville. That's the first regional I skipped this season. I have done every other one so far. And that kind of gives me time to like rest up a bit. And I start to get into I kind of try and find like new decks. I have tried like to get Gem Power running again after rotation, didn't really work. I try to get a bit more comfortable with Dragapult, doesn't really work, don't really see the results. I start trying to try Goldengo on its own, and that doesn't really work. Then I try just out of sure why not, I try Goldengo with Dragapult, and somehow that like just really clicks, and that really works for me. And I then win the cup in the last cup I won. Before, I believe that was before Utrecht. That makes sense. And I'm like, okay, I could still go for Worlds and Wide, but I need like top 16 in Utrecht because that's the last tournament I'm doing. Unfortunately, can't take time off for Bologna, and NAIC is just not feasible, money wise, really, or like anything wise. Because God, you pay like 2 or 3K for a US trip, and you want me to do that twice in a year? No, thanks. Absolutely not even a little bit. Yeah. So I'm like, okay, let's just throw everything I have at it. Let's see what I can do. And Utrecht, one of my, with Gdansk and Stockholm, my favorite place we have visited. Very nice, very great people, great food as well. And I managed to get a pretty good run going. Unfortunately, lose my first round, but that's kind of what I do a lot of times. I just kind of lose and then go from there. And I do manage to pull it back quite a bit. Get a four wins in a row. Then I get a tie and a loss, and I have my win in against the only truly bad matchup, which is Raging Bolt, which I was dodging all day. And they flip over, and it's like Baby Bolt and like a Rotom, but like no Terra, and they just pass for 3 turns, and I beat them. And very similar situation game 2. So I win in 10 minutes. Marius is standing around, like, because I think he was able to ID for day 2, and I had to win it in. And yeah, we meet up, and I'm like, I just beat Raging Bolt somehow, and we're like celebrating and really happy about that. So we both made it to first time that we both are, I believe, in the same day too. And then the miracle happens. So basically, I go in with 5-2-1, yeah. So for top 16, I need to win out. There's no way around it. That's the only way. So there's a pretty detailed review we did on the first episode of this podcast. Check it out somewhere else, somewhere on the screen or not. But yeah, it was a really weird, incredible run, and I do manage to win all 4 rounds. Unfortunately, I end up bubbling out of top 16. I was the lowest with my score, and I come 18th, and I don't get the points I would have needed to maybe still have a chance for Worlds. Because if I get top 16 and then finish my last 2 cups, I would have been at 690, and that would have probably been enough just to make it. But yeah, it wasn't meant to be. So I have my best result by far again this season. Incredible result. Couldn't have fathomed to do that well. Unfortunately, this time there's no money involved because it's a special. Else I would have gotten a nice $1,000. So that's the goal for next season. Maybe getting the cash out a bit.
Yeah.
We'll see if that works out. But yeah, I managed to get 2 displays. Opened one in the venue, was pretty good. Sold the other one to friend Noe. And boy, I picked the right box because the box that he opened was garbage. Jesus Christ, there was nothing in there. Really unfortunate for him, but you know. Yeah. Very nice place. I appreciate it. Also, a lot of my friends, a lot of the German squad showed up for Utrecht. I believe we were maybe even the biggest group of people, the Germans, second or most present nation. But yeah, it was very fun. Spoke a lot of German in that region as well. A lot of German-speaking people I played against. Yeah, and unfortunately, the only thing that was missing was friend Liam, who can now talk again.
Yay! It's not good talking though. Well, it kind of is. All right, so internationals. This was a kind of a heartbreaker actually because I felt really, really good. Again, this is a deck I put a lot of practice into, etc., etc. I played Arcalodon without Dialga for EYC, and the start was really good. I won one, lost one, whatever. You always lose one early on. Next 2 wins were really good. One of them was against Laura Takeda, who is one of my favorite people to play against at Cups and stuff. Absolutely brilliant. Wife of Tamao Takeda. She was playing Raging Bolt as she was for the Cup that we played not too long before EYC as well. And I managed to get the win there with Arcalodon, which was insane. But as I always say, Raging Bolt players love a single prize knockout, and they love activating your counter catcher for no reason. So I took advantage of that both games, which was quite nice. Then I had another tie. I had my first tie, which again, fine. I'm on 1 tie, 1 loss. I can afford one more of either. Next game was Snorlax, lost that. Great, thanks for that, Snorlax. Is usually a good matchup unless they play Cornerstone and Mimikyu. They played Cornerstone and Mimikyu. So I was like, cool, okay, just got to win the next 3 and I'm into day 2 at my first internationals. Cool, I'm happy with that, I can do this. Back-to-back God of War. Which took me out of the tournament completely. And it was such an annoying one as well, because I felt so confident with the deck. Even at X2-1, I still felt good. Like, it was like, oh, cool, I might make my first day 2, and it might be an internationals. That's insane. But at that point, it was really funny as well, because, not to spoil Murdo's results, but Kaya was with us as well. And for a long time, she was our only day 2 hope in the group, which was really cool.
Kaya did really well, yeah.
Kaya
had a really good start.
Kaya has her moments of absolute brilliance. Like, she always says she's not a good player, but she's had top 8 cups and stuff. Like, she's done really well. So, yeah. Hopefully next year we'll be able to get Kaya to some more regionals as well, but that's not easy being a teacher. But yeah, ended up finishing 3-4-1, dropping out at round 8, because again, once you're out of the points completely, I'm checked out. But I was happy with how I played. I don't think I made too many misplays. Arguably, maybe against the Snorlax, but otherwise, yeah, it was fine. It was fine. Highlights. God, highlights of EUIC. I suppose the food was pretty good. We got to a place that we went to the first time we went to internationals. Really good, fantastic. We went on the Thursday night. It was brilliant. The next year it was terrible. We just got in quite late and they were like clearly very flustered, didn't have enough staff. The place had closed down, but been reopened by the restaurant next door, which was a pizza Italian restaurant. So we went in for an Italian meal basically, and it was delicious. It was so good. Oh my god, it was one of the best meals I've had in London. It was absolutely fantastic. We went to a not Turkish, Lebanese place. We went to a Lebanese place as well, which we've been to the year before as well. Fantastic both times. Right there on the main road leading up to the Excel. So fantastic food. It's kind of bad that most of my highlights have been food. Not gonna lie. I'm hoping one day it'll be a game or the fact I made day 2. But hey, we are what we are. So Murdo will tell you about his internationals and his point score after this, but I managed to get 208. So I made Ace Trainer, which is pretty cool. Ace Trainer Jester Service. And generally, on average, I did much better, especially locally. I did so much better this year than I did last year. So even though I didn't make as many points, I still feel like I did better overall. So hopefully we'll continue this upward trend of improving, and hopefully we'll see our first day 2 next season. But that's for next season. Murdo, finish off your season, buddy.
So London, I was pretty. I was like in the middle of all these deck crises. I was starting to try and get good with Dragapult. wasn't really like getting results at that point, but I was like, it's a good deck. I'm just gonna take it. Went same 60 with another friend of mine, and I didn't really do much testing ahead of time because I was going to spend the whole week with a friend of mine in London, with a really close friend. We spent the whole week. Shout out to Salem, because we don't really see each other that much, so we spent a whole week in London, and that was really nice. I really enjoyed London. London's pretty, very expensive, but very nice. We ended up then it was day 1 time, and I started 0-2, which is fantastic. I then start to claw myself back a bit. I go 3-2. And then I lose another 2 rounds. And I am not a happy camp at that point. Wasn't really feeling it anyway. And that wasn't really helping. So I was 3-4 at that point. I kept playing out because I was like, okay, 5-4 maybe points. And again, I was very like set on having to get points at UIC. So I tried, okay, let's just play out. I do manage to win my last 2 rounds. The unfortunate part of that is that I then bubble out of top 1024, which in hindsight only would have been 40 points, wouldn't have mattered. But the moral game is broken at that point. Like, boy howdy, is it a bad time? Like, it just feels it feels unfortunate. I had a generally good time. It was the first regional where I pulled out the two suits. 2 different, one white, one blue. One of my favorite pictures as well, where we took one picture on one side in the white suit and one on the other on the blue suit, and then we combined the pictures. It's on my Twitter. I'm a big fan of that picture. A lot of good times. A lot of friends that never didn't I see this time. A lot of people also like financially quite unwise that have done that. You know, I'm not their advisor. They can do what they like. They're adults.
Hey man, what's money?
Yeah. So it was just a pretty cool event. It felt special, but results wise wasn't great. So after Utrecht, my season ends. I tried to get the points, like the last 2 cups, last 2 cup wins with 3 cups. Just in case 6-4-5 would be enough, but I just don't get it, and I'm also like kind of like resigned because I know it's not going to be enough at that point. Even at that point, I was already below the line, and Bologna was still to come. So I was like, okay. I unfortunately couldn't get it. I kind of start to perform less well, and I end up on 609 points, which is a nice number of points. Pretty proud of that. By far my best season. I think I'm going to end up at like top 175 of the region, which is quite good, quite strong. Top 200 of anything. With so many players this year, I think is quite commendable. And I think it really showed me that there is potential for me to get better results, get more results. So I'm pretty sure that I can improve on that next year. Hopefully go to Worlds for my first time. Let's see how it goes. Now I'm enjoying the good result at Utrecht, but also the benefit of not having to go to America for now, which it's not the worst.
I do think next year, and I think we've had the conversation on the podcast before, I do think we'll end up with either going back to the old system of a championship point threshold, or they'll increase it to top 200 or something, which, if they do that, you are in like such an interesting position where you're like, hey, if I can just repeat that or what I did this year, then I'm in, kind of thing. So you're capable. So
I'm quite interested to see. And also, like, I very much just kind of went in and saw where it gets me. I think now that I know that I can get these results, I'll probably attack the season a bit different. And this podcast might be a good way of documenting that, structuring it a bit, like my preparation, and maybe give you, the viewer, the listener, also a bit of like my point of view, and maybe you guys can give me some input about that, and I'll help you guys prepare as well. We'll see.
And I'll be vlogging as always. So, but I think talking about next season, I think we are planning on doing. Well, at least I'm planning on doing as many regionals as I feasibly see possible. Like, I think for me, I'll do the first 3 or 4. Basically, I'll do what I did this year, where Birmingham will be my final cutoff, because ultimately after Birmingham, there's no way I can get best finish limit of 5. If that makes sense. Like, if you score points at Birmingham, then there's still EYC, Stockholm, and then the 2 specials to still get to your BFL of 5. I don't think you're making the World's Invite unless you win a regional or something. You're not making Worlds without a best finish limit of 5. Like, that's just 4's not going to be good enough. So I'm going to do the same as last year, and of course I'll include Dortmund or whatever's in Dortmund's space this time as well. So go on.
What didn't help for you as well is that, like, it kind of became like an expense bell curve where, like, Gdansk and Birmingham for you were like the cheapest, and London as well. So they were like in the middle of it, and the more expensive stuff was like on the ends. Especially in the end now, like Stockholm and Sevilla are quite expensive. Utrecht was fine for me because from Germany it's not that far. Bologna also quite annoying.
I mean, realistically, the money and the cost of getting to these venues and stuff isn't an issue. Maybe it should be, but it isn't. Like, for me, it was always the time. Like, I feel like I'd have been in such a better position if I was like able to get in even earlier on a Friday, but being able to get in on a Thursday, for example, and actually having the day to prepare and stuff like that would have been so much better for me. And hopefully this year that's more likely. For those who don't know, I handed in my notice this week at work, so I'm no longer going to be a full-time working human being until I am. Yeah, independence, man. And update, which I didn't have on Monday, they have asked me if there's any potential for me to go part-time. I said no. For me, the time is far more valuable than the money that they'd be bringing in. So I'm going to have a lot more time to do, and for those who are watching this podcast and been wondering where the content is, where streams are and stuff like that, I will tie this back to the tournament stuff in a second. But I've been I've been doing courier stuff for Every, which has been good, but I've been working solid now. This will be my 18th day in a row where I've worked a job. So once we're done with my full-time job, I'll probably keep Every on for a while, but I'm also moving into dog walking and pet sitting, and also carpentry as well, which is like all stuff I've always wanted to do. So if I can make careers out of any of those, all of those, one of those, then that's going to be fantastic. And it just frees up my schedule to be able to do these kind of things. Like, I can just say, cool, I can't provide these services on this Friday and Monday, and I can have that full weekend for next season, which it all ties in. And again, I'm in a very fortunate position where I can do this. Not everyone can, I'm very aware, but while I could take advantage of that kind of thing, I think it's a good thing for me, and it means I've got more time to do content and stuff as well, which is good. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to next season. I'm already preparing, not as hard as I could. I haven't really played Pokemon for maybe a week now. Yeah, last time I played would have been last Saturday for the weekly casual. I didn't play last one. I played the one before, so it probably has nearly been 2 weeks. I will be doing locals tomorrow / today when this podcast should come out. But yeah, I've dropped off, but I'll be building back up because I don't know about you, Mirdo, but as soon as I see any cups jumping up for July, I'm going to be going straight to them. I don't know. Our locals are kind of a pain. They probably won't have them up until August, but July's going to be really interesting because for anyone who knows, I've been obsessed with Grimmsnarl. I don't know if Grimmsnarl gets worse once Black Bolt White Flare comes out. Maybe because Ethan's Typhlosion gets a big jump, and I think that suddenly becomes a harder matchup for Grimmsnarl. Anyway, not important. I want to take advantage of how good Grimmsnarl is right now as much as possible. And for the first month, Black Bolt White Flare isn't legal. It comes out the 18th, so it takes 2 weeks to become legal. So that won't be legal till August. So if I can just rinse off like even the best finish limit in the first month, not necessarily wins, but just get the BFL done, I think that'd be a really, really good position to be in. So, but we'll see what happens. Yeah, like I said, I don't know what your plan is, Mirdo, but that's definitely mine.
I'm just waiting for water support to get printed again. I am a one trick. Please give me my one trick.
I'm sure
no. Yeah, I'm not sure like what I'm gonna do deck wise, but I always say like I'm definitely mentally not in it right now. And I think it's good timing because I'm just kind of like, I'm focusing on other stuff, focusing on getting my life a bit more in order, getting myself more in order, being able to prepare better, like healthier. I think that was a bit of the issue as well. That I was just always stressing about tournaments, but never really actually do anything about it. So that will be something. I had a bit of a breakthrough recently, so that will help me a lot. Deck-wise, I'm not really sure. There's going to be a tournament this weekend, which is the prize where an ETB for Distant Rivals. So I'm probably going to play that. Mostly just going to take Goldengo. I'm not really sure what I'm going to take.
I think Goldengo Dragapult's still in a very good position. So it's definitely worth keeping up with, I think.
From what I saw list-wise, it's going in a direction that I don't enjoy because it's going more into the direction of straight Goldengo and just Dracloaks as draw engine.
Yeah,
the one list I saw doesn't even play the Dragapult anymore.
I've seen a lot of 2/2s of like Dracloak and then no Dragapult, and I'm like, I don't know. I'd like the Dragapult and the Crispin option just because, like...
Oh, yeah. Like, my favorite part about it is the versatility. Yeah. Like, you'll see that in a lot of decks that I do well with. It's always... my first deck I got day 2 with was Lugia, with a wacky tech. I played Champower with always a lot of different attackers, a lot of different niche opportunities to take 2 prize cards.
Yeah.
May it be Iron Hands, may it be Greninja, may it be... Kyogre.
The Kyogre was brilliant. I love the Kyogre.
I love that. My favorite card of the season. Not even close. And also the Goldengo I played with Crispin and Dragapult, and with the extra energy for Dragapult, where a lot of people would play a second Darkness Energy instead of a second Psychic or Fire. Just really works for me. Like, that kind of stuff just really works for me. So I'm not really sure what I'm going to play. Probably Goldengo, but we'll see where that goes. Yeah, I was going to bring it up. I think something that a bit inside baseball for the viewers that not as familiar with us as a duo, because we used to do a lot of together on streams, most on your stream a lot. We used to be basically streaming like twice or 3 times a week together, multiple hours, just riffing off each other. We have pretty good chemistry. We've been friends, like really, really close friends since... You said, I'm pretty sure, like 10 years now.
2015 October would have been the first year you jumped into one of my streams.
Yeah, so we're going to have the 10-year Gem-iversary this year, I guess.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, so we've been just really close friends. I helped him through some bad times. Liam helped me through some bad times. Yeah, I did buy him a bed when he moved out of a bad place. And I then went over the next week and slept in it, which was unrelated, but it lined up.
And it was with Neo when I first got Neo.
Yes,
you may have seen on the stream today.
I actually cuddled with Neo when he was like a wee little boy.
I saw the photos.
Very tiny. Yeah. But yeah, it is very much. I think now that we do less streams together because you've started to do less variety, more Pokemon, and that's kind of annoying to do with 2 players, like two people commentating over it.
It's not too bad. It's not too bad if it's you and me
talking less.
Yeah, it's not too bad if it's you and me.
So this feels like a good vessel.
Yes, I agree. That's what I was going to say. Like, Pokemon it's not too bad to talk over if it's me and you playing each other. Like, when we've done Conquest and stuff, like, we can have conversation back and forth, that's fine. But when you're trying to chat challenges and you're trying to talk about the game, trying to talk about what's going on, it's much harder to do it with a partner because you are trying to talk to each other, trying to be funny and stuff like that, and it just doesn't really work unless you're a pair of commentators watching over a game that you're not playing, if that makes sense. So having this as a vessel, as you mentioned, a catalyst, whatever you want to call it, is really good. Like, genuinely, I'm so glad we started this because we don't know how long it's going to last. Who knows? But I'm enjoying it. We're only 3 episodes in. Murdo might get sick of me. We don't know. But while we've got cats in the background, I think we're going to be good. So,
what a nice way to end this episode, isn't it?
Completely unrelated. Pokemon, Grimmsnarl.
I mean, I think people also want to hear about us. I think podcasts do like lend themselves well to like a bit of a personal thing as well. Like if you just talk about Pokemon, it could get like a bit too samey. And because and I do that a lot. Like I bring up results of my friends a lot. I
Yeah.
talk about like the experience I have with other people, and like food and like visiting places, because I think that's a big part of it as well. And it also keeps you a bit grounded, because it's like, even if the tournament doesn't go well, like if the tournament goes very well or if it doesn't go well, like it doesn't get to your head, like either in like, oh, I'm the best player in the world, or in the other direction, like, oh, I suck so much I never get results. I think that's like a balance to strike in life, where you just don't, where you have to focus and you have to concentrate on something, but like I'm not sure if you should like let it take over.
Yeah.
And I think I would like, as like a personal touch, I would like to have that balance in the podcast as well, and I hope people enjoy it.
Yeah. Let us know if you enjoy it. If you don't enjoy it, don't let us know. Just don't listen. I get it.
Do give feedback. Like, I'm happy to hear.
Ladles and Jelly Spoons, thank you for watching as always. Hope you enjoyed this week's Jamming Town podcast. I'm hoping to have this out on Thursday. I may stay up tonight just to get this edited and uploaded, just so it's ready to go, because otherwise it will not be out till Sunday. I'm going to say that much.
Night.
So I'm going to make sure it's out. If you enjoyed the podcast, do let us know. We are on Spotify. We're on YouTube. Leave us the likes or the 5 stars or the whatever it is. Beans says hi. You haven't seen Beans yet today. Here's Beans. But yeah, all our social media links will be in the description below. If you want to check out my Metafy, you can do that. Metafy.gg/@JesterTCG. I've got 2 guides up at the moment. One for Ethan's Typhlosion and one for mine is Grimsnarl. Is the list still good? I think it is, but it is completely free to check out if you haven't already. Mirdo, is there anything you would like to promote, or is that everything?
I've been playing the Switch too. I like Mario Kart World. And I hope to see you again next week, when we probably talk about NAIC, if I had to guess. And other things, other topics that are available.
Beans, you got anything to say before we go?
Yo, there's a cat in the microphone.
He's actually in the microphone. It's insane. You good, bud?
That's a good cat, though. You're missing out if you don't watch it on YouTube.
Really?
If you don't want to watch it on YouTube, you can go to my eBay. I will sell to you a VHS tape of this.
It's mad because
it will be
at one point
$6,000.
there was 3 cats in the frame, and it's just like they're everywhere. They're insane. Anyway, guys, thank you.
Dude, I've been watching your camera, and they have been moving, jumping, flying around everywhere.
It's 9 o'clock is food time, and it is 8:30, so they're very much aware of the time being close to food time. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. As again, all the social media links are in the description below. Give us a follow on the appropriate platforms. Blue sky's better, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye.
Bye.